We are on the stage at the Ashtabula Arts Center with Beth Koski, and she has retired. And she's back here today looking through envelopes and files and things. But we stopped her for a while and dragged her up on the stage to talk a little bit about her time here. And how long were you here?
I was in my 28th year when I retired, so quite a while.
And things must have changed a lot, much bigger than when you got here.
Yes, when I started here, we were partway through adding this addition with this theater on. We had not secured all the funding for that. That wall was wide open back there. I mean, it was not enclosed, and obviously none of the seats were in, nothing else was in the whole routine. And since then, we've added on a dance wing. We've added on to our kitchen. We've added the patio and concession stand, box office outside. We've done a lot of things. And all of those projects have been with the help from the Civic Development Corporation.
You also have the Straw Hat Theater building.
That was moved here in 1985, and I started in 1986.
Okay.
Okay, so just a year off that mark.
Because they used to have all of the supper productions down at Walnut Beach.
Correct, in a circus tent.
Yeah, I remember that.
I do too.
So you must have gotten a lot of support over the years from various industries, businesses, civic groups, that sort of thing.
All of the above. And, you know, we've been very fortunate that we've had a fairly strong base of support throughout the years. The one thing that I've noticed that's changed a lot in Ashtabula County is a lot of the family-owned industries and businesses have been sold.
And they're changed.
And they've changed. And, you know, the management teams are not located here in Ashtabula County. So you have to sell yourself a little bit differently and have to work a little bit differently to try and get those dollars. But we've been pretty fortunate that we've had a pretty strong base of support throughout the years.
So that hasn't eroded your support, it just changes the way that you do it?
It has eroded the support.
I would imagine there's people that say, well, I have to check with New York or Pittsburgh or someplace.
Yes,
they just can't give you that answer right away.
Correct. But say a company may have changed as far as being sold, they may have their own foundation where you can possibly approach that foundation. Not always the case, but sometimes it is. So that's a new avenue to be explored.
But it is kind of remarkable in a way that the Ashtabula Arts Center is here. It's still fairly strong. But look at the mall or downtown Ashtabula. Those things have their problems. And the Arts Center has seemed to survive okay.
You're right. And I think a lot of that is because we don't deal just with the Ashtabula city area. We're a regional arts center. We touch people that come from Erie and other areas, Youngstown, Perry, Cleveland, Paynesville, etc. But, it also is because we're a family place and we're a very positive place. And such good things have come out of here. The staff is extremely strong. And they're phenomenal.
There's some good regular actors too.
Yes, we do.
That when you see who's going to be in it, oh, this is going to be good.
That's true. That's very true. But it's nice to see new faces too every once in a while and get new people involved. And we have lots of kids, lots of families that get involved, and that's really neat too. There's no other place really like it around here.
Yeah, other cities of this size don't usually have something like this.
No, it's pretty unusual.
So I think people may be complacent in seeing the Arts Center here, but it is something that's, that you shouldn't take for granted and appreciate. And maybe people that don't go to the theater as often as they should.
Well,
they should consider it.
The unfortunate part of what's been happening in the last few years is so much school funding has been cut. And we used to have lots of field trips to the Art Center for different kinds of programming. And that would give the kids an introduction into coming to the Art Center. That isn't happening anymore. The dollars aren't there. And so we're trying to do more going out into outreach programs in the community. We're working with Oasis down in Rock Creek. We're working with After School Discovery. We're working with after school discovery, not only on the elementary level, but on the junior high level, and trying to keep those kids in touch and trying to keep, the arts are important.
I can remember coming here once with a slew of Girl Scouts, and I imagine most of them, it was their first entrance into the world of theater.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we need, is people like you who will bring a group of Girl Scouts or a group, their church group of kids or students or even adults. You know, the more people that get exposed, the more they'll enjoy it and learn more about it.
So and your successor may be interested in, what percentage of what is being the director of the Ashtabula Arts Center? I mean, there's got to be so much public relations, so much fundraising, so much knowledge of the arts to get the proper programs in here and different things. I mean, how does that all come together?
Wow.
You got to be like a Renaissance person here, Beth.
Excuse me, that's a big question.
I'll just sit back for the rest of the
Oh,
time.
okay, Bob. Actually, you know, when I started here, this was not my background. I had been on the board of the Art Center for about 5 years. Art Center had been part of my life, almost all my life, but I was not an artist. I never have been. And I was like, I'm really not sure about this. But I had more of a business background, and that's what we needed at the time when I started here, because we were in pretty bad shape. And I learned throughout the years. I mean, I'll tell you, my staff has taught me an enormous appreciation for every different art form. Things that they have taught me will be with me the rest of my life.
But
Now again, I was absolutely thrilled when we did the school version of Les Miserables a few years ago. It was, I think we were one of the first to do it in the state of Ohio, and the kids, it was just phenomenal. It really, really was, all the way around, and that was amazing. You know, the spring dance show every year brings me to tears, mostly because I've watched these kids grow up. I've seen what they've gone through, but the emotion in that show with the different styles of dance is just absolutely phenomenal. Annie's always fun. I mean, we've done it 5 times since I've been here. But, you know, it's a different cast every time. They have their different energy. And that again to me, a lot of it is about the kids and what the kids can do. Watching Fred Robsell in any show is amazing. He is a phenomenal actor, and, you know, I just saw him last week. I ran into him at the mall, and I said, come back. And he said, I'll be back, you know, sometime soon. It's been a while. But we have an amazing group of people who dedicate an amazing amount of time. It's all volunteer, you know, when you're in a show.
all the directors and all, they are volunteer?
No, the directors get a small stipend.
Okay, all right,
It's just
that's
a
what I
small
wondered.
stipend, but it's not, believe me, anywhere near what it
With
would
the-
be if
with
they
the-
were paid on a regular salary type basis. It's just a token. It's like an honorarium. And the music director's the same, you know, because it takes a lot of time and work and everything else. But, you know, it's an amazing amount of volunteers that keep this place going, and we need them.
How many times have you heard somebody say, I went to see the Nutcracker in Erie or Cleveland or whatever, and it was okay, and I wasn't expecting that much from the Arts Center, but boy, was it better.
Yes, many, many times. Many, many times. And every year. And we have families who for 10, 15, 20 years have made this a Christmas tradition for their family, to bring their family to the Nutcracker. And their little boys who were maybe 2 or 3 when they, or 3 or 4 when they first came, and I don't know whether I want to do that, still are coming and are amazed and blown away by what we can do on this stage. When we did Annie many years ago, before we had a ticket computer or a box office system in place on a computer, we used to hand take all the reservations. We still do that as part of the process, but then we kept a hand tally of the number of seats that we had available and the number, you know, that we could sell. And we had a senior aide who was working for us during part of the day, and somehow she oversold one of the shows by 100 seats. 100 seats. Now, the theater seats 200, a little over 200 people, so we were in a pickle. So we were able to finally get a hold of all the cast members. Actually, Deb and Daryl were directing that. Deb and Daryl Lowe were directing that show, and they all agreed to add a Thursday performance to that show, so that we could accommodate those people. Then we had to call all those people, and ask them if they could change their seats from whatever to another night. So that was one sort. Then another time we were doing Lucky Stiff, which is a funny musical about somebody who is only can inherit money by taking his uncle's corpse around a world trip and the whole routine. We were doing that in Straw Hat, and I was running lights for that show. I was either running lights or stage managing, and we had a horrible downpour right before the show started. So we had the show starting, we were in the overture, and the audience is all out in the parking lot in their cars waiting to come in. And we're going, stop, because nobody could hear anything because of the metal roof out there. Excuse me. So finally, and I saw some lady, I was standing out there, we're trying to get everybody to, calm down, and, that we would start the show, as soon as things calmed down. We're also, the moat out there had become a moat. And so we were getting some pumps out and trying to get that bailed out. And finally got the audience in, and, it was just bizarre. I mean, I think we started a half an hour late that night. But we did it. The show must go on.